I've never told anyone this before. Maybe because even now, when I recall those events, my chest tightens and a chill runs down my spine. This isn't fiction. Everything really happened. One summer, Jason Thompson moved to a small suburb outside Seattle. He had just started a new job in the city and wanted to find a quiet place to live. That's when he found the listing. A small two-story house on Willow Street at the very edge of town. The rent was suspiciously low. The landlord, a man in his 50s, was polite but oddly cold. "It's quiet here. The neighbors won't bother you," he said, handing over the keys. The house was old but well kept. Creaky stairs, narrow windows, and a faint musty smell reminiscent of an old library. At first, Jason thought the quiet was exactly what he needed. For the first few weeks, everything seemed normal. Jason worked from home, went for evening runs, and enjoyed the solitude. But soon he began noticing strange little things. One morning he found a photograph in his mailbox. It showed his house, but decades ago. A family of 4 stood in front. A man, a woman, and 2 children. On the back was a note: "We are always here." At first, Jason thought it was a joke or some old items that ended up there by mistake. But a few days later, the photograph disappeared. One night, he was awakened by a knock. Sharp, dull, like someone was scraping their fingernail across his bedroom door. Jason froze and listened. The knock came again. He grabbed a flashlight and went into the hallway. Empty. All the windows were closed. The next morning, he noticed a strange scratch on the door. Straight, deliberate, as if intentionally made. At a nearby store, Jason talked to the cashier. When she heard he lived on Willow Street, she frowned. "In that house? You live there alone?" "Yes, why?" "Nothing. Just be careful." She didn't say more, but her voice clearly carried worry. Jason noticed the basement door had been boarded up. The nails looked new. Curiosity got the better of him, and in the evening, he carefully removed a few boards. The smell of damp hit him. Inside were old children's shoes, several pairs scattered on the floor. His heart sank. He quickly closed the door and didn't go back. A week later, a black SUV started appearing near the house. Sometimes someone sat inside, but the face was unrecognizable. When Jason went outside, the car drove away. He called the landlord. The man answered calmly, almost too calmly, "Don't pay attention. Just a neighbor watching the forest." But the nearest house was miles away in empty land. One evening, Jason returned home and found a piece of paper on the kitchen table with the words, "You shouldn't have moved here." The door was locked, the windows closed. His hands shook. He called the police. They arrived, inspected the house, and shrugged. No signs of break-in, no evidence. Each night, the pressure grew. Footsteps in the hallway, the black SUV getting closer. One night, Jason woke to find the basement door wide open, though he had nailed it shut the day before. Inside a drawer, he found old documents, children's birth certificates, newspaper clippings about the disappearance of a family 20 years ago. The landlord was mentioned as the neighbor who saw them last. Jason realized he had walked into a trap. The landlord rented the house to lonely people. He probably wasn't the first. That night, he heard the door open. Heavy, confident footsteps moved across the first floor. He hid behind a wardrobe on the second floor. In the doorway appeared a tall man with a flashlight. He walked slowly, as if he knew Jason was nearby. Jason ran out the window. He only remembers the night's cold and the sound of the SUV starting nearby. The next morning, he left, packed his suitcase in 5 minutes. He contacted the police again. The case was closed, no evidence. The landlord still rents out the house. Ads appear on the same websites. And every time Jason sees a black SUV, his heart tightens.